Well, hello, my wonderful, beautiful breasts, beautiful breast guys of the wonderful, beautiful Maverick Nation. I'm the Dark Shadow of the Maverick, the Dark Shadow Maverick. Whew. And per request of good old channel veteran Loki Power, a new What If. Per request of him, what if Naruto was Katakuri? And whenever I saw Katakuri, I had to be like, I had to check something. I had to like check something. And sure enough, it was the Katakuri that I may or may not have been thinking of. Katakuri, as in Charlotte Katakuri. Yeah, that's right, the strongest of the sweet defenders of Big Mom's whole thing. Yeah. Was that the defenders or commander? Like, basically, all the strongest of all the sweets. Charlotte Katakuri. So, yeah. What if Naruto was Katakuri? I'm thinking, how am I exactly supposed to do this? Hmm. Oh, let us indeed say this. The Uzumaki bloodline within Naruto. Well, his oldest ancestor, aka his great grandfather, Uzushio Uzumaki, basically, he was paired up with Charlotte Linlin, aka Big Mom, towards the end of her reign. And Big Mom was paired up with Uzushio Uzumaki, and being the Shodan Uzukage. And, well, basically at the end of all this, basically as Naruto is, well, let's say, Naruto, tired of being called the dead last of his class, and decides he's going to be doing some, hinge training by hinging into fake versions of himself to be able to sneak in to the library and be able to get books to read them and become smarter. And, well, as he's doing this, he comes up across some pretty, pretty good subjects. As in, well, subjects that are just good for ninjas in general and everyday life in general, but some touchier than others. Like, for example, the entirety of the Uzumaki clan, and Uzushio Gakure. Basically, Uzushio Gakure. Yeah, like the entire history of the damn place. And even Shodai's, like the Shodai himself, Kage, being married to Mito Uzumaki, who was one of the many heirs of heir, but not a Kage, of Uzushio. So yeah, Naruto figures out that one of the heirs of Uzushio or Uzushikage, Uzushio or Uzushioka, was indeed the wife of the Shodai Hokage, Hashirama Senju, that wife being Mito Uzumaki. However, the wife of the OG and the only Uzukage, that being Uzushio Uzumaki, the wife, like Uzushio Uzumaki's wife being the late-ish Charlotte, otherwise known as her Yonko title, Big Mom. And even by learning about the whole Yonko title, he learns stuff about, you know, the Yonko, the Shichibukai, the Gurusei, the Celestial Dragons, the world government in general. And he even learns about the whole paradise and the new world. Those parts. Basically, what Naruto ends up figuring out is the part of the world in which him and his rest of the ninja world is basically they're in paradise, more or less. They're also in the new world as well, and this kind of confuses Naruto until he reads on the page where it continues to explain that the elemental nations are actually in a part of the world which is in between paradise and the new world. It is literally in between. It's a giant landmass that is literally one half of it is the new world, the other half is paradise. And he ends up figuring out that Land of Fire is actually a good chunk of paradise. But also a little bit less of a chunk of the new world once you get deeper into the Land of Fire. Meaning that the outskirts of the Land of Fire are actually where it touches paradise, and whenever it gets deeper in, is where you actually get to the parts which are closer to the new world. Whenever it comes to the Grand Line and the Red Line, and Naruto's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep these books to continue figuring out some shit." And whenever he takes up books, he actually finds some scrolls. And he's like, I'm going to take that too. And so he basically just, learning Shunshin from two Jonin that he had watched doing the Shunshin Jutsu. In the middle of a random ass training field, he just Shunshins back to his house with the books and the scrolls. However, a few of the scrolls are actually very special looking scrolls. 3 in particular. One named Napoleon, one named Prometheus, and then the last one named Zeus. And there actually is a 4th one. The 4th one, however, is actually something that rather confusing, yet rather actually sort of weird, just beyond weird. It actually says, the 4th one actually says Big Mama Chanter. And it seems to have a lot more chopper cost, coming from it than the other 3, Zeus, Prometheus, and Napoleon. The Zeus, Prometheus, and Napoleon scrolls. And, well, oh my. Basically, Naruto does the required hand signs for each one before he has to draw blood. And then there's like, the ones for Prometheus. Basically, Prometheus, Napoleon, and Zeus's, all of their hand signs are the same. Bird, rat, dog. However, the one for Big Mama Chanter is dog, rat, bird. It's the exact opposite. It's reverse. But also, the Big Mama Chanter one has a lot more chakra cost to it. Like, Naruto can feel the weight on that scroll in particular. However, he has bought more than just those four that, interested in to a certain point where he was actually truly indeed interested. Then there's even a scroll that says there's actually two scrolls that are kind of bundled up together. One that says hockey, and the other one says devil fruit. And Naruto is interested in those. So, considering like the difference in the chakra of the Prometheus, Zeus, and Napoleon scrolls, he decides to, check a look-see out on the Devil Fruit and the Hockey scrolls. Basically, once he unreels like the Devil Fruit scroll, he sees a Devil Fruit. However, the thing about that is, Naruto, seeing as he's hungry, and the thing's right in front of him, with really just throwing all caution to the wind, eats the damn thing without even reading the freaking instructions. And whenever Naruto finally sees the instructions below, he realizes what he just ate is called the. I'm not exactly 100% sure what that specific devil fruit is called, so I'm not even gonna bother. Okay, I might take a guess, seeing as it revolves around mochi. I guess the mochi fruit? So basically, yeah, that's basically, he sees that. And basically, it is give like a short little overview on the abilities of said fruit. However, whenever he dips into the hockey one, he sees that there are three types of hockey. One is armament, which has two technical ways it can be used. One basically actually armors your body, and the other one basically allows you to hit a lot harder. And there's another one. There's one called observation hockey. In observation, you can actually increase your observation so much that you can actually see like several seconds, possibly even minutes into the future. But that's like if you like masterclass observation. And the third one, which is actually the hardest to master and the rarest to actually get in the entire freaking world, it's also known as the Conqueror's Will or the King's Will. This one conquers hockey. However, he feels like there's a second chakra that just came out of nowhere in his body and is gravitating him to the special scroll, the one that, deals with conquerors hockey. And then he hears a voice in his head that pulls him into his mind, and his mind looks like a freaking sewer. And Naruto's like, oh, if I think this works how it is going to work, if I think this works how it is going to work, then I'm going to need to do something to change this. And then you just hear, oh, please do. Oh, by the way, about those other three scrolls, Prometheus, Napoleon, Zeus, mm, there are these weird things called homies, but I wouldn't fret about them. Just don't let them run rampant. And whenever Naruto would finally see what was talking to him, he'd be like, "Oh my god, that's why everybody is." And dude was like, "Yep, I'm the nine-tailed fox." Like, yeah, you don't seem scared at all. And Naruto's just like, "Well, at least this way I get an explanation for why everyone hates my damn guts." So I guess there is some silver lining in this entire thing, entire ordeal here. Yeah, so basically there's this like big old talking session inside Naruto's mindscape. And once Naruto finally comes out of his mind, it's revealed to him that he can actually like telekinetically like telepathy like talk to the Nightels, so he doesn't sound like a freaking psychopath talking to himself. And Naruto's thankful for that. However, he is indeed, basically, he indeed remembers about the whole thing that was, you know, talked about the whole three scrolls: Zeus, Prometheus, and Napoleon. He opens, the Napoleon one first. He sees that Napoleon is apparently a sword. And then he opens the Prometheus one first, and he's like, okay, that would have burned me if I was any normal kid. Where apparently, Kurama Buddy, because indeed, for some reason, Kurama just felt like this kid he just accessed so much weird shit. And one day, there's some respect in like Kurama has respect in there for like what Naruto's doing right now. And so he just like he allows his chakra to keep himself from being burned by Prometheus. And Naruto's just like, and for you, and just like, and just like a cloud trying to electrocute him. And he's just like, oh, so that's why you kept the cloak up. Thanks, Kurama. And Kurama's like, don't mention it. And Naruto's like, are you kidding? If I told Gigi about this, if I told anybody about this, they go crazy trying to execute me. And also, I don't wish any of that on like that on anyone, especially someone like you, a friend. And Chrome was like, friend? Kid, do you know who you're talking to? And Naruto's like, of course I do, Kurama. Or should I say, Kurama Nichan? And Kurama would be like, Kurama Nichan? Oh, yeah, that's. Naruto would be like, oh, yeah, that's right, Kurama Nisan. And Kurama would just be like, uh, what? And basically, Napoleon and Prometheus would just be there in the background while Zeus is trying to freaking shock Naruto. And Napoleon would be like, you and I both do realize that Zeus isn't getting anywhere with this, right? And Prometheus is like, I think the more shocking thing is that dude is literally, while getting shot, talking to himself. I mean, it's like is he insane? Is the person that released us insane? And Zeus is kind of like, what the fuck is wrong with you, kid? And Naruto would just be like, first of all, I'm not a kid. Well, I am, but I'm not. Whatever. Anyways, you three, you're Napoleon, you're Prometheus, I presume you're Zeus? You three, since from what the scrolls have been, I've been reading from the scrolls, apparently the first Big Mom is no longer alive, and the second one set it up to where this would actually end up happening to her successor. At least the successor of the strongest of the Sweets Commanders, if I remember correctly. The strongest of the Sweets Commanders. If I remember his name correctly. Oh yeah, Charolette Katakuri. Apparently he has something to do with that. Oh, well, then I guess that's the reason why the Devil Fruit was there as well. I think that's what it was called. Mochi Mochi no Mi. And Zeus and freaking Napoleon and Prometheus are just like, wait, you ate the Devil Fruit. And Naruto's like, and I also read this whole study thing about hockey. And I think because of what happened, with Kurama Nisan's chakra, whenever we were reading about it, the Conqueror's part, I think we might just be a rare case whenever it comes to that. And Zeus is just like, oh shit, he has not a huge mastery, but definitely a mastery over freaking Conqueror's hockey. We are. And Napoleon and freaking Prometheus are just like, well, maybe if you didn't shock him. And Napoleon like, Prometheus, you're one to talk. You tried to burn him alive. At least I didn't try to chop him or slice him. And Naruto would be like, don't worry, guys. I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to get along just fine. After all, what was it that Big Mom the First called you guys? Her homies? That's interesting. I wonder if you guys are anything like the summons. Summoning animals? And basically, Zeus, Napoleon, and Prometheus would just be like, oh, you mean like that giant ass toad? and Naruto would be like, you mean the chief Gamabunta? The one that the fourth Hokage was on the back whenever he defeated the Nine Tails, so he sealed him. And Zeus is just looking at Prometheus and Napoleon, and Prometheus is like, I ain't saying jack shit. And Napoleon's like, oh, if I have to do everything. And Napoleon's like, no, kid, the one we were talking about whenever it came to the toads. He is the greatest of all the toads. He is their one true leader and eldest one. Even more elder than Ma and Pa. Even more elder than Pa being Fukasaku and Ma being Shima. He is Gamamaru. And Naruto would just be like, Gamamaru? Oh. So that's the strongest toad. And I remember hearing something about where they live in this place called Mount Mayaboku. Strange. Oh boy. So after this, like, Zeus, Prometheus, and Napoleon basically have to end up explaining to Naruto that after everything that has just now happened, and the fact that Naruto seems to be a natural with the power of the Conqueror's freaking spirit, and God knows what else, after eating the mochi mochi fruit. So yeah, they're basically like, okay, this is definitely not gonna work. Besides, the home of the Uzumaki last time they checked was Uzushio, and it was basically wrecked. And basically home of his clan name, Uzumaki, Uzushio was freaking wrecked by Kiri, Kumo, and Iwa. The time in between the second and third Shinobi War. And Naruto basically being like, and how is this important? And, Zeus, Prometheus, and Napoleon are just like, well, indeed, the more and more like we go through this, the more and more you'll probably be able to understand. That's whenever Naruto's just like, I'm bored, I'm also very hungry. Now, I don't really want to go out. It's my birthday, and, well, if everything stays true, the moment I step one foot out of the apartment complex, the villagers are going to try to murder me. And Zeus, Prometheus, and Napoleon, whenever hearing this, they're just like, damn. That's whenever they get a bright idea. One after the other start to think, maybe we can help with that. And basically, Napoleon, seeing his hair, he looks like a damn sword. Like, Naruto, I mean, ninjas normally have swords. Why don't you just have me as a sword? I mean, after all, we kind of can't really run away from you. We're kind of stuck because, Katakuri was Big Mom's, strongest of her sweet commanders. So, yeah, we're kind of stuck in this situation here. And Kurama inside Naruto's head would be like, dude, Naruto, think about this. We gotta take this opportunity. And Naruto's just like, well, yeah, that's cool and all, but what about you guys? Prometheus, Zeus? And, well, Prometheus is just like, interesting. hmm. Hmm. Wait, Zeus, don't you remember that whole thing about Katakuri on the whole fried mochi? And Zeus is like, fried mochi? Oh, you aren't gonna. And Prometheus is like, yeah, I'm gonna. That is, if you will. Do your part at least. And Zeus is like, challenge accepted, asshole. And basically, Prometheus adds himself onto Naruto's chakra network to just make any mochi he uses through the chakra network, sending the devil fruit power through his chakra network. So basically, adds himself onto there so that Naruto won't just be able to use the mochi powers, but he also will be able to use the more insane fried mochi through the help of Prometheus. As for Zeus is basically going to channel himself through Napoleon as to make a lightning sword like Sasuke whenever he got into Shippuden. So basically, Naruto has a lightning freaking shield and a lightning sword. Dumbass. Lightning sword. A lightning sword. And basically, his body can just turn into burning fried mochi if someone tries to attack him physically. So yeah, ain't nobody touching Naruto. So yeah, basically, yeah, with that whole shtick. Naruto is indeed like, oh, what am I supposed to do now? I mean, well, the idea is great and all. Hmm. There's part of it doesn't seem right. And, Kurama is just like, the reason why it doesn't seem right is because there is more of you than meets the eye. A longing part of you, a part that longs for greater advantage. And basically things like images and feelings that you go through Naruto's head, and all of a sudden just like you got jolted, like boom, sonic rain boom to the freaking face. He gets assaulted with all this. And then just like automatically Naruto knows why. Like he's like talking to himself, like he'd be like, yeah, I know what I gotta do now. He just sees the scroll with, in the kanji, big mama chanter. And whenever Prometheus, Napoleon, and Zeus, whenever they see what Naruto's about to do, they're like, oh shit. And basically, Naruto just like roof hops. As soon as he gets out of his house, he's like super omega speed roof hops. And he's like, Zeus, Prometheus, Napoleon, come on, you gotta keep up. Come on, step it up. And basically, they're all like, damn, how is he so damn fast? How does he have so much damn energy? And finally, whenever they make it to Naruto's little destination, where he wants to use this scan ass scroll, um, hmm. Naruto basically come across like the border of Fire Country. It would have been running so fast. I mean, it's like he'd be shooting himself across all of like the freaking country with like mochi, like just whoosh. And Naruto would be like, "Whoa, the devil fruit is cool." And then basically, like Prometheus, Zeus, and Napoleon would be like getting real close to him as he would be approaching a body of water, basically telling him that once you eat the devil fruit, you cannot swim. And Naruto's like, oh, that's a problem. Basically, he would come across, the waterfront, like the old, tide as it was rolling in. And Naruto would be like, summoning jutsu, big mama chanter. And all of a sudden, he would just hear something like, And I just be like, what? And then just some big mama chanter being like, and that was just the opening. Basically, Naruto would be like, what the hell is going on? And basically, Prometheus, Napoleon, and Zeus would be like, and that's the whole thing with the Big Mama Chanter. And Naruto would just be like, okay then. Hello, Big Mama Chanter. And Big Mama Chanter would be like, hello. Um, and Naruto would just like flash to a page of a book that he found. And Big Mama Chanter would be like, oh, you're an Uzumaki. That's very good. And Big Mama Chanter would kind of just do like a side gesture with its head. And Naruto would be like, oh, and just jump up to the top and be like, oh, yes, I see. So, guys, where we going to? First, and Prometheus, Napoleon, and Zeus would just all be like, wait, are you saying that you literally? And Naruto's like, yeah, did you not paying attention to me like packing? By the way, there is this funny thing. Whenever I stopped by Gigi's office earlier today, he must have been out for lunch because I saw something. Apparently, it's called the Scroll of Sealing. There's this jutsu I figured out I could use because I had a lot of chakra. It's called the Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu. And, Big Mama Chanter, it would kind of have a tear to its eye, like, because it would remind it of its, it would remind it of Uzushio, Uzumaki, how he knew how to use the jutsu as well. And Naruto would be like, Big Mama Chanter, it's okay. You'd be like, BMC, it's okay. And Big Mama Chanter would be like, that's like an abbreviation like thing, like, okay, I guess I'm okay. And Naruto's like, don't worry, we're gonna explore the world. Where to go to first? And I can't just have you guys. I mean, you're great and all, but and the Big Mama Chanter, it's nice to have someone who can sing whenever you're bored enough that I just like someone, sing so I don't, die of boredom and, asleep, fall off the deck and drown. But oddly enough, I also found some things like chakra exercises. I completed the leaf one and pretty much completed the surface walking one. The only one I had the least bit of trouble with was the water walking, but that's finished now too. So yeah, no real worries about me having to fall into the ocean, because I can just walk on water now. And Napoleon, Prometheus, and Zeus would be like, wait, what? Nani? And Big Mama Chanter would just be like, yay! Like, Naruto's like, it's nice to have a ship that actually has personality, like beyond just the look. And Kuroma's like, yeah, as long as she doesn't sing us to death. And Naruto's just like, come on, Kurama. Big Mama Chanter's nice. Like, BMC's nice. Aren't you, BMC? And BMC's like, very nice. Not nice to our enemies. That is if we're forgetting me. And basically, Big Mama Chanter's looking down at Zeus, Prometheus, and Napoleon when she says this. I'm going to call the Big Mama Chanter a C. I'm a she. And don't even try to get on to me about it. Whenever I see the Big Mama Chanter and I see that smiling face, I think she, not a he. Unless you want to think of something about like Pennywise's deadlights. That bull crap. Anyways, that basically, as soon as like Prometheus, Zeus, and Napoleon would kind of get the hint, and they finally get onto the Big Mama Chanter, the Big Mama Chanter would be like, "Yay! Now where to?" And Naruto's like, "That's this thing. I don't really know where to go to. That is unless inside this scroll." Hmm. There it is. That's where we'll go to. And the Big Mama Chanter's like, "Yay!" I was like, Zeus and Prometheus and Napoleon are just looking over to see Naruto was already pointing to. And it's like, wait, what? And why? And basically, whenever Naruto thinks about it, he's actually like, well, you guys. Hmm, technically, Land of Wind is, well, close enough to the Land of Fire. Be considered friends. So I don't think the Sand Village would that make much of a problem. Plus, you ever heard of this thing called a bingo book? Yeah, I know. I do a lot of snooping around. I don't care. Just hush and let me explain. Bingo book, a bunch of big time criminals are just big nuisances in general that people are ready and willing to pay a big sum of money to get rid of. Turn in the head to the right person, and we can get a lot of money. And Lord knows we're gonna need it, considering where I plan to go after that. Look out, New World! Naruto's monkey is coming right after you. Basically, seeing as like the Land of Fire is more bordering towards paradise. Once Naruto ends up kicking off towards Suna and then the ocean area around Suna, he'll basically be bordering towards, more towards the New World, or at least what is considered the New World whenever it comes to the five elemental nations. So yeah, like the farther out from most of the mainland that he goes from, like the farther out, he is usually gonna probably be considered inside of the New World. Going from the red line to the red line, grand line, that shit. And Naruto doesn't even have to worry about that because he has luck on his side. He is flying a Yonko ship. Nobody's gonna want to mess with that. Even like Sea King creature things ain't gonna want to mess with that literal talking ship, which is the ship of a Yonko. And technically, because of all this stuff that Naruto has, he is actually, plus, with Kurama inside of him, he actually finds that he's actually able to do something else. It seems that what was left, if anything, besides just the regular treasury, that would be found inside, Big Mom's ship, amongst the treasury, another fruit. And it turns out because of Kurama, like ridiculousness, which is Kurama, he is actually able to eat the second devil fruit. And while it is a pain in the ass at first, whenever he actually figures out what the hell it is, you know, Actually realizes, holy shit, I can create more of you guys. Yes, that's right. He not only has the Mochi Mochi no Mi, which is a Paramesha type, but he has the Soro Soro no Mi, which I think might also be a Paramesha type. So does he have like two now? Paramesha type. He is literally like freaking Blackbeard because he has like two devil fruits now that he has eaten. He has eaten the Mochi Mochi and the Soru Soru, which was actually Big Mom's original devil fruit. But the second Big Mom, the second one, where they ship, actually put the fruit in the storage because, the fruit brings a lot of bad memories because of just how vile the original Big Mom was of a person. She was. However, Naruto might actually be able to use this for good instead of evil. The power of these two fruits, the Mochi Mochi and the Soru Soru. And plus, he also has the hockey, especially his. For some reason, Kurama allowed him to have this like magnetization towards, especially towards freaking Conqueror's hockey, to the point into which he can actually freaking bring Zeus, Napoleon, and Prometheus to their freaking non-existent knees just with one little pop from his body, a little like a bubble wrap pop, and they're just down. Like he has a ridiculous amounts of power over the conqueror spirit. Conqueror's hockey. And with that all considered, there's actually come a little close to some sort of a place, a sort of docking that might as well be big enough for the Big Mama Chanter to fit through, and be able to drop down the anchor or anchors, considering how damn big the thing is, just so that it will stay freaking put. And basically, Naruto's like, Zeus, Prometheus, Napoleon, you guys guard the ship. Actually, no, Zeus, Prometheus, you guys guard the ship. I'm taking Napoleon with me because I might need a weapon. I'm apparently considered not old enough to be a shinobi, so I can't have any shinobi weapons. So I'm going to need to take Napoleon with me if I want to have an actual physical weapon. That will actually be considered an actual physical weapon. And so basically, yeah, that's the only reason why Naruto isn't having him also take care of the whole thing. So basically, Naruto's like going across, they start going through the whole Kaze no Kuni, the whole wind country. And he's just going through, and he sees basically Sunagakure, Sand Village, not too bad for a place that only has the Akibi Jinchuriki. And basically, whenever Naruto finds the building which he perceives to be the Kazekage Tower, yet it doesn't seem like the Kazekage is really there. He actually goes, climbs up a good way until he hears some muffled crying. And he would basically go to the room where he heard crying, he would do a little bit of a knock, 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 and he would just hear someone say, "Go away!" And he would just hear some sand like hitting the cracked door, like, and all of a sudden, I was like, "Mochi, mochi, bullet!" And like, sand and mochi just flying everywhere. And Gara just seeing, yo, be Gara. Gara just seeing like how effortlessly just freaking faded all of his attacks with sheer ability to create and mold mochi. This guy just used mochi to fade his attacks, like ruthlessly and like disrespectfully fade his attacks. And you know, funny thing about that is the whole thing with like the door crashing open and the whole cluster of mochi and sand. Tamari and Kankuro would wake up and they'd basically go to, Baki, and Baki would alert the Kazakage, at the time Rasa, about this. And basically he tried to use his gold sand to get in between Gaara and Naruto. And basically he'd just be like, "Oh, so you want to get serious now, don't you?" And he'd basically be like, "Napoleon, Soru Soru no human extinction slash." Yes, Soru Soru no human extinction slash. Meaning soul soul human extinction slash. The Soru soul. He's basically using the Soru Soru no mi through Napoleon. And just rips Ross's soul out. He just rips it out and injects it into Napoleon. And Napoleon is like, "Nom nom 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 nom. That tasted good, Captain." And Napoleon and Zeus and Prometheus have basically seen so much of Naruto's power that they basically, without question, consider him captain. And basically, Big Mama Chanter, as soon as she figured out what she figured out, also considered him captain of herself, the Big Mama Chanter. And Naruto's just like, "Okay, now which one of you wants to be next?" And Gaara's just like, it's like shoot sand. And Naruto's just like, "Sorry, Napoleon, but can't kill this guy. Ain't too many similarities." And Napoleon's like, he thinks he knows what Naruto's talking about. And he's just like, mm, mm. "Mochi Mochi Bazooka." And basically knocks Gaara out. Basically, whenever Gaara wakes up, he's just like, what? And he just sees that he's on his ship. And he sees that Tamari and Kankuro are with him. But he sees that a cloud is kind of, restraining Kankuro's freaking puppets. And there's Tamari's warp band, but it's in burning distance of this living fireball. It's like, "Go ahead, go any closer and see if I won't burn this damn thing." And it's kind of the same thing with Zeus and Kankuro's makeshift puppets. I was like, "Go ahead and see if I won't crush these damn things and destroy them with lightning." And so that's basically why Tamari and Kankuro aren't doing anything, except for whenever they finally realize Gaara is conscious. Finally. And basically Naruto comes up to them in the room and basically just says, "So, you guys, thank you would be very appreciated, but I can see that you're pretty shaken up from everything that has happened. Hmm. All I could say is don't be. The guy had it coming. Kage or not, he was still an asshole. I could feel it from within his soul using my Soro no Mi. As for my Mochi no Mi, hmm, well, it's a very easy way to combat your sand, Gara. So, just a little thing to say. Don't be too reliant on that power of yours. Sure, it may come in a good and easy pinch, but another thing that can come in good and easy pinch is indeed a little thing I like to call hockey. For example, hmm, let's see. Hmm. Oh, that right there. That looks like a good target. Basically, Naruto would just see off. Not too far in the distance, but definitely in the distance. He would just see a ship, flying. And not really flying, but sailing. A ship sailing off in the distance. And Naruto would been like, man, these guys have been following us along way too long. What do you think they want from us, Napoleon? And Napoleon would be like, hell if I know. And he'd be like, you'd have better luck asking one of these kids what they wanted from you, or any of us. And Gara would actually go over there and see that the ship was actually something a little bit about tracking. So basically, they were indeed being followed, and the symbol on it basically it wasn't a direct ship from the Sand Village, but it was a direct ship from one of their neighbors, more seaside neighboring villages, more towards the land of vegetables. And basically, you know, I was like, of course it would be them. Well, looks like we really are going to have to take things to the extreme if they're to understand not to mess with us. Hey, Zeus. Hey, Prometheus. Hey, Napoleon. And basically all of them would be like, oh, very well then. Like, Napoleon would be like, very well then. And he would just float into Naruto's hand like, those assholes are asking for it now. And Napoleon would just be like, would just look at Zeus, and Zeus would look at Napoleon, and then just be like, okay, we're ready. And Zeus would just engulf, like, Napoleon, and it would be like a lightning sword now. And, like, Prometheus would just engulf the entirety of Naruto's body, and he'd just become like a freaking flame ninja. Like, he'd be on, it would look like he was on fire, which technically he was, but due to the Karama chakra, he wouldn't necessarily be hurt. Plus, also, Prometheus knows better, and so does Zeus, and Napoleon already knew better from the moment he was summoned. For the very first time, or ever. So basically, Naruto having a freaking lightning sword, and being engulfed into flame, he would just jump off, and then ready his feet, like send chakra to his feet, and race over towards the ships. And he would just be like, armament now. And then they would just like cover like the basically cover Napoleon in armament hockey, and the lightning would surge through the armament hockey as it would surge through the blade, and the armament would also go through Naruto's body, basically merging with the flame. And And basically, it would go both ways. It would like make him hit harder, and it would give him a better defense. And Naruto would just be like, one slash, Zoroshiki, and the ship would just get like it's kind of like a banana, and it would just like crash into the water. And Gaara, seeing this, would just be like, "What is that? Who is he?" And Naruto would just shun back to the ship, and he'd be like, "Me, Gaara? Hmm, hmm. I am Naruto Uzumaki, pirate born of paradise." At least that's the area is called. Pirate born of paradise and breaking through into the new world with a ship of a Yonko, not just any Yonko, Big Mom, also known as Charlotte Linlin, the one with the power of the Sorry no Mi, and her strongest sweet commander was the one with the power of the Mochi Mochi no Mi, Charolette Katakuri. And you see here, I've been looking around for people who would be appropriate. I'm going to need a lot of worthy assets for him to be successful with what I plan to do. Plus, I see the suffering of the people of this world, and I hate it. So, me, Prometheus, Zeus, and Napoleon have decided we are going to change that. Now, you three. Whichever one of you want to go back to your village, you can choose. I won't hate you for it. So you know what you're necessarily messing with here. And basically, the only one that would stay would be Gaara against Tamari and Kakuro's heavy, behest against the actual, Gaara staying with Naruto. Basically, Gaara would be the only one who would actually, decide to stay. And yeah, basically, after seeing Naruto cut down a ship from, the land of vegetables with one swipe, yeah, some crazy shit. So yeah, that's basically once Gaara had basically been allowed to stay. Basically, Naruto had been like, very well then, it's good that you allowed yourself to stay. Gaara, Sawaku no Gaara. Hmm. Huh. That's not everyone though. Gaara, I just want you to know this. I wanted the others to get some decent amount of sleep before I just decided to introduce both parties to each other. And Gara's like, huh? There's more? And Naruto's like, well, it took me a quite amount of time to actually get all of it over to an end, considering rather unfavorable shipping conditions. You know, um, sailing conditions. And the Big Mama Chanter would just be like, you're right. Very, very nasty weather. And Naruto would just smile and be like, one thing I can agree with you on there, Big Mama Chanter. Now, as for the others, well, to be honest with you, I actually thought things were going to be rather more hectic than they were. But then again, we might not all have survived if that was the case. Hmm. Hmm. Don't get me wrong. I find this rather nice. A little group we have amassed. Hmm. Hmm. They're nice indeed. Okay. Something I'm willing to admit, not willing to admit so much is that reason for my hesitation is that I just now remembered because of certain things. So actually, you'll be the sixth member of, well, those of us that are more or less non-inanimate object, those of us that are more inanimate object. Talking about you guys, Zeus, Prometheus, even you, Napoleon, and Gara would just be like, well then, who are they? And now it would just be like a wave, and all of a sudden, boom, everyone would just pop out of nowhere. I just get reverse summoned onto the top of the ship, and just be like, one of them would be like, ha! And just Naruto just catches on with one finger, and just be like, Peter, what did I tell you? And it would just be like, oh, wait, that guy, he's the next one of us? And Naruto would just be like, yes, Peter, he is the next one. And possibly last one for a while, as we start bolstering up our ranks. As we should. After all, the Big Mama Chanter is indeed a Yonko ship. So it should be treated with the crew such as what a Yonko ship would demand. And Peter would just be like, well, I can agree with you with that. And do you want me to get everyone else out from their stupor? And Naruto would be like, please and thank you. And Peter would just be like, okay, you guys, wake up. And just be like, ah! And be like, bam, like, fall down. And craziest shit would then begin to happen. Eventually, this girl would be like, damn it, Peter! I'm gonna kill you! And Peter's like, hard whenever I never grow up. And he'd just like be flying. And then the other girl would just be like, you dumbass, you forget that I can fly too! And Peter would just be like, hello? Who's the real dumbass here? I mean, come on, I'm flying. And all of a sudden, Peter would knock into the mast. And then the person was like, dude, there you go! And then Naruto's like, you two, before you start breaking my ship, and I have to break you, I suggest you stop. And, you know, Naruto would just be pouring on all that damn Conqueror sake. And the other person would just be like, but Lieutenant Gingerback, directive service, sir. You guys might be wondering, well, if this is Lieutenant Gingerback, Stark's one fraction from Bleach, then who's Peter? Guys, isn't it obvious for you Disney fans out there? Yeah, I pulled that one. Peter freaking Pan. I mean, he literally said he could fly. Like in the movie, there's really a song where they repeat the line, "He can fly, he can fly, he can fly." Like, how obvious do I have to be? As for the others, oh, there is indeed more than just Peter and mm, little Annette. Basically, you would just hear someone be like, "Oh, I guess this is the big day of celebration," and Naruto would just be like, "Yeah, celebration that you no longer have that thing in possession," and someone would just be like, "Oh, yes, that's right. You continue to remind me about that." And Naruto's like, "Well, if I hadn't, you probably would have tried to kill us all anyways." And basically, the person would have been like, "This again." And then Pan would just be like, "Well, Light, I mean, come on, he isn't wrong." Actually, come to think about it, when has the captain ever been wrong? Especially about you. And Lynette would even be like, "Well, I gotta agree with Peter on this thing. And I gotta agree with him on that." Yeah. Oh boy. Technically, now that I'm rethinking things, it would be like 6.5. Because technically one of them is alien. Basically, there would just be this one girl, and she would just be walking up, and it'd be like almost like she was in her PJs or something. She would literally just like climb down from the mast and be walking up and be like, "Okay, Captain, what's up? Who's the new guy?" And then you just hear, and the girl would just be like, "Stitch, not now, not this early in the morning." Yes, Stitch. And who's friends with Stitch? Yes, another Disney property, Lilo and Stitch. Basically. Lilo and Stitch. Basically, you know, Naruto would basically be like, hmm, I know tried to have suspicions about a certain something. First of all, how the hell am I supposed to find a Neverland if it's not on the frickin' map? Jeez, it took forever to find your ass, Peter. And Peter's like, well, I was on that giant bell tower. I don't know how you could have missed that. And Naruto's like, it's like 500 miles like across from Neverland. God help me if I ever have to remember anything about those damn mermaids again. God help me. And Peter's like, oh, so Tinkerbell, like, oh, so Tank wasn't the only one bothering you that time, I guess. And Naruto's like, screw you. Screw you and Captain Hook. Besides, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have any sort of idea of anything about, like, freaking wind release. And Peter Pan is like, oh yeah, that's right. That's how I can fly without the use of pixie dust. And basically, Naruto would be like, and it's also how Will and Annette can fly without the use of Reiatsu. Wind release. Apparently, you two are both good at it for some reason. I guess it's the exposure of flight beforehand that helped you two. Not exactly in getting along, but definitely in learning how to realize your actual chakra affinities. Not necessarily surprised about your other affinities, though. Lilith definitely doesn't need all that much help in her fire affinity. And you, for some random ass reason, Earth? I guess, sword man Earth? Is it just because you got a sword? That's the lamest ass reason I've ever heard for a secondary affinity. Again, since both of your major affinities are wind, I don't know really what I was asking for here. Oh, and don't even get me freaking started. Ugh. On certain other people. Basically, just like light would be there and just be like, can I kill the alien now? And Lilo would just be like, Light, Yagami? And Light would be like, ah, shit. She was right there. And Naruto would be like, dumbass. I mean, are you blind? And Lilo would be like, ah, permission to fire, Captain? Captain would be like, as long as you don't break the ship, Lilo. And Naruto would be like, as long as you don't break the ship. And Big Mama Chandra would be like, hey, I have a name, And Light would be like, what do you mean permission to And then Lilo would just be like, we know exactly what he means. And she would just be like, and basically, and just like, Light would be like, one-handed hands, oh no. And Lilo would be like, ice style ice needles. It's like, ching, ching, ching. It's like, help me. Mm, Gosh. Okay, I guess I'll consider Stitch. Regardless. So yeah, I guess that would be that. There would be Naruto, Napoleon, Prometheus, Zeus, Peter, Lilo, Stitch, Lynette, and Light. And where they're headed for next, to be continued. We'll have to find out. Bye.